Please be seated. Good morning, everyone.
今日我哋係講聖經解答實際人生問題第8題。
So today we're talking about Bible answers to real life questions, number 8.
本嚟應該係第7嘅，但係第7咧我未曾研究得好。
It should be number 7, but number 7 I haven't actually fully studied it well, so that's why we're talking about number 8.
不過咧，我反而有第9同第10啦。
But actually I have number 9 and number 10.
今日咧係講章嘅經文係同上個禮拜完全一樣。
So the results from today's sermon is the same as the results from last sermon.
就係路加福音8章5到15節。
That is found in Luke chapter 8 verses 5 to 15.
上個禮拜我係着重係10節同11節。
So last week I stressed verses 10 and 11.
就係呢啲天國奧秘係指俾基督教裏邊得救嘅人。
So the
secret of
wisdom is only stored up of the kingdom of God is only stored up for those in the Church of Christ.
The saved people in the Church of Christ 就係耶穌講天國奧秘係俾你們，唔係俾佢哋。
So the secrets of the kingdom of heaven are for the saved people in the Church of Christ, for you guys, not them.
今日咧，我係講傳講神嘅道有4種唔同嘅心田回應。
So today I'm talking about the 4 results from preaching the Word of God.
嗱，我哋中文翻譯心田呢個表達咧係非常之好嘅。
So the Chinese way of expressing this is
the heart is a field.
The heart is a field.
Yeah， 心田係 field。
Okay.
心咧係 heart， 所以因為佢係講撒種咧就係田地，又係講人嘅信心就係心，所以心田係最好嘅。
So the Chinese translation is it's the field. The heart is your field because that's where you sow the seeds.
Yeah, when you say believe and understand is with your heart, but when you sow the seed is on the field. 所以我哋中文呢個翻譯係最好嘅。
So the Chinese translation is the best.
然後咧，耶穌話呢個係耶穌嘅解釋。落在路旁就係人聽嘅道，隨後魔鬼嚟，將心裏所聽嘅道奪去，恐怕他們信了得救。
So this is how Jesus explained it. Some fall on the wayside. These are the ones who hear, and then the devil comes and takes away the word from their hearts, so they may not believe and be saved.
我哋係怕人哋唔信耶穌。
We are afraid of people who don't believe in Jesus.
但係魔鬼係怕人要信耶穌。
But the devil is afraid of those who believe in Jesus.
咁你呢度睇到佢怕人信耶穌咧，佢最有效嘅方法就係將佢心裏邊所聽到嘅道即刻攞走。
So for the devil, because they're scared of Jesus, people believing in Jesus, their best method is to take away the word from their hearts so they may not believe.
我哋就希望人聽咗道之後，嗰啲道一直存喺人嘅心。
So we hope that once they hear the word, that word may exist and live in their hearts.
但係魔鬼咧就要想盡辦法將嗰啲道攞走。
But the devil thinks of all these ways to take away the word from people's hearts.
所以喺呢個故事裏邊，我自己咧就睇到係呢啲。
So in this story, in my personal observation, this is what I see.
世上嘅人咧應該自己去讀聖經，然後咧睇下你哋睇到乜嘢。
The people of the world should read the Bibles themselves and then see what they can see for themselves.
我就以為咧呢種人咧係冇希望得救。
So I think these types of people, they are the hopeless ones in terms of salvation.
因為佢俾魔鬼將佢聽到嘅道成日都攞咗去。
Because they let the devil take away the message they heard in their hearts. They let the devil take that away from them.
人能夠得救就靠呢啲神嘅道。
the ability to be able to receive salvation is dependent on this message in their hearts.
呢個係魔鬼最有效拿手嘅方法，
So this is the devil's most effective way in keeping people from salvation.
而且佢非常之成功。
And he's actually very successful.
特別係一個好多人嘅教會，但係咧好少人明白聖經所說。
Especially a church with lots of people, but only very few that know what it says in the Bible.
我哋知道有好多人中意話，我哋教會幾多人，教堂幾大。
We know a lot of people that like to say our church is so big, there's so many people.
但係喺我嘅經驗裏邊，特別係嗰啲教會越大人越多嘅地方，
But in my experience, especially in churches with lots of people or big places,
但係你問嗰啲喺裏邊聽到信耶穌幾十年嘅人，甚至成世人喺嗰度信耶穌嘅人，佢哋點解咁樣信耶穌？
but if you ask a so-called Christian in that church who's been there for 20, 30 years, maybe they've been there their entire life, and you ask them, why do you believe in Jesus this way?
佢哋都係話牧師講嘅。
And their typical answer is, our pastor said so.
世界上嘅人咧，以為呢句説話嗰啲牧師好中意。
So people in the world think that this saying is something that the pastors really like to hear.
嗱，證明佢識講嘢，證明佢有權威，因為個個都要跟住佢講嘅嘢。
So that proves that this pastor knows how to talk and he has power because everyone wants to follow him.
所以佢哋都中意話我哋牧師講俾佢哋聽嘅。
So that's why their typical answer is, our pastor said it.
但係喺我哋基督教咧，呢句説話最難聽。
But in the Church of Christ, this saying is the worst thing to hear.
我哋基督教咧係講聖經講乜嘢，耶穌講乜嘢，彼得講乜嘢，邊一章邊節講乜嘢。
So in the Church of Christ, we talk about what Jesus said, what Apostle Paul said, what Apostle Peter said. Where is it recorded in the Scriptures?
我哋唔靠人哋講乜嘢，
We don't rely on what people said,
我哋唔根據人哋講乜嘢，
and we don't follow what people say.
我哋根據聖經講乜嘢。
We follow what the Bible says.
呢而家咧，我係講第二種心田啦，落在磐石上，
Now we're talking about the second scenario when the seeds fall on the rock.
就係人聽咗道，喜歡領受，但係心裏沒有根，不過暫時相信，遇見試探就跌倒啦。
So these are the ones who hear, receive the word with joy, but have no root. For a while they believe, but in a time of temptation they fall away.
嗱，我上個禮拜指出嚟，佢英文個翻譯係非常之好嘅，就係 fall away 喺邊度啊？喺呢度。嗱，佢有 fall 又 away， 即係兩個嘢 ，fall 係跌倒 ，away 係離開。
So I really like the English translation because it says there's two things here. They fall and then they are away.
即係 departed
They departed.
啊，所以呢啲人咧又係唔得救嘅人嚟嘅。
So these people also cannot receive salvation.
就算佢係曾經信耶穌，曾經得救，
They might have believed in Jesus before and they might have been saved before,
後來佢受試探跌倒離開啦，
but in the time of salvation they fall away and they depart.
所以亦都係唔得救嘅人。
So they also are not saved.
馬太福音4章第1到11節記載魔鬼點樣試探耶穌。
So from Matthew chapter 4 verse 1 to 11, it's recorded how Jesus was tempted by the devil.
所以我哋睇到喺呢度故事睇到魔鬼點樣試探人。
So from this story we can see how the devil tempts people.
嗱，你需要食飯嘅時候，好似你話我唔返工冇飯食。
So when you want to eat, just like you could say, if I don't go to work, I can't eat.
咁佢就係用食物嚟試探人啦。
So he tempts you with food.
嗱，而家世上好多人，佢話禮拜日我唔返工冇飯食，
So a lot of people in the world say, if Sunday I don't go to work, I can't eat.
所以冇辦法信耶穌，
So I cannot believe in Jesus.
冇辦法參加聚會，
I can't attend worship.
呢個係現實。
And this is reality.
OK， 所以有好多人話我要信耶穌，我哋都希望得着救恩，但係我做餐館禮拜日冇辦法。
So a lot of people say, I want to believe in Jesus, I want to have salvation, but I run a restaurant on Sunday. I can't come.
我話咁啊，等你退休先咯。
Then I say, oh, why don't we wait till you retire?
嗱，有啲人話我開鋪頭，禮拜日唔開檔，冇錢賺。
So some people say, I run a store on Sunday. If I don't open up the store on Sunday, then I don't make any money.
但係我傳道人，我唔係做生意，我都識得同佢諗。
But I'm a preacher and I'm not a businessman. I didn't even think for them.
你可以 你12點半先至開檔都得啫係
You
嘛？
can open up your shop or store at 12 p.m. or after 12:30 p.m. Is that okay?
總之咧，如果你有心要信耶穌，你就有辦法。
As long as you have the heart to believe in Jesus, you will find a way.
嗱，呢個係2000年嘅現實。如果魔鬼睇到你需要喺呢個生活上有需要，佢就用呢啲嚟試探你。
So this happened 2,000 years ago. If the devil sees that you need something for your body, he'll use that to tempt you.
嗱，第二個咧就係、當你覺得凡事亨通，咁你就慘啦。
So when you think you're succeeding in what you do, then you're in trouble.
我知道我哋呢度好多人能夠守住幾十年，就係、因為我哋唔係凡事亨通，時不時都有麻煩。
We know that a lot of people here, they're succeeding, they think they're succeeding in what they're doing, but there's always problems coming up.
特別係我自己喺度40年，時不時就有呢個數，有嗰個，梗有啲麻煩㗎。
Just like myself, I've been here for 40 some odd years, there's always some problems here and there, once in a while.
有呢啲麻煩反而係好事。
And to have these types of problems is actually a good thing.
你能夠受訓練、受鍛鍊，能夠更加嘅堅立，立得住。
So if you can endure this, if you can train yourself, then you're more able to actually endure these temptations.
Very good translation，非常之好。如果你凡事亨通咧，你就要小心啊！
So if you're like constantly succeeding, you have to be careful,
特別係我哋年青人，
especially when you're young.
魔鬼要叫你，你仲可以有多，仲可以更多、更多、更多。
So the devil will keep telling you you can have more, you can have more and more.
然後魔鬼坐喺度笑笑地啊，你就更多、更多、更多。你等你住啊！呢兩個好精彩啊！呢兩個事好精彩啊 ！Drop dead 啊！
And the devil will sit there and smile and keep tempting you to have more and more.
Waiting to see you to drop dead。
He's waiting to see you drop dead.
我睇到好多啊！
And I see a lot of these cases.
你一隻，哇，好歡
You're
喜。
constantly succeeding, you're happy, you're full of joy,
你唔小心啦，
but you're not careful.
你以為你好得意啦，
You think you're doing so well.
突然間 drop dead。
All of a sudden you drop dead.
我親眼睇
I've seen it with my own eyes.
所以我哋有時有困難，應該感謝神嘅恩。
So sometimes when we have problems, trials, and tribulations, we should thank God.
keep 住我哋要小心。
We have to be careful.
如果你一直成功咧，
If
你
you're,
就慘啦。
if you're constantly succeeding, then you're in trouble.
所以你要小心。
So you have to be careful.
嗱，師啊，唔使擔心啊。
So Z, don't worry.
呢個係我哋結婚嘅人嘅一個
So
點樣？唔能夠係災難啫嘛。
So this is some things that we have to endure as married people.
老婆生病屋企，心裏有啲唔舒服係嘛？
So
然後 OK。
your wife is sick, you probably feel.
所以我哋更加要覺得我哋老婆係值得愛惜，上帝俾幫助我哋。
Your wife is worthy of your love and worthy of God's help.
嗱，唔係乜嘢事都冇，
It's not you're not going to have no problems.
係有時候有啲嘢
Sometimes you'll have some problems,
就 keep 住我哋喺呢條路上。
but it will keep us on this path.
記得小心啊！總之彼此提醒。
Be careful.
如果乜嘢事你都好亨通，
If you're constantly succeeding in everything you do,
呢個係魔鬼要試探你嘅
this
時
is
候，
the devil trying to tempt you.
佢就會睇住你 drop dead。
And he wants to see you drop dead.
我時都講，我就幾大都唔 drop dead 俾佢
And I
睇，
always say I will not drop dead, no matter what happens.
我要等睇住佢落
I'm
地
going to wait till he goes to hell.
啊！Beautiful， 哇！今日翻譯得好嘢。OK， 當你覺得世界很可愛，咁你又慘啦。
So when you're in love with the world, then you're in trouble.
魔鬼就你可以有全世界啊，
So the devil says you can have the entire world,
咁你又慘啦。
and then you're in trouble.
呢個故事裏邊，你係呢個你要學。呢個故事裏邊，你又可以睇到耶穌點樣戰勝魔鬼撒旦嘅試探。
So in this story, you can also see how Jesus overcame the devil's temptations.
佢每一次都係用神嘅説話，
So each time he used God's words.
所以你就睇到點解我哋基督教成為要讀聖經、讀聖經、讀聖經。
So that's why you can see in the Church of Christ, why do you always have to read the Bible, read the Bible, read the Bible?
呢個就係點解過去200年嚟喺美國呢度，
That's why in the past 200 years in America,
喺南部嗰度好多基督教會。
in the South, there's so many churches of Christ.
你可以如果你經過阿拉巴馬嗰啲 highway 阿拉巴馬，你時會睇到個牌基督教會咁去嘅。
If you drive along the highway to Alabama or on Alabama, you can see Church of Christ, Church of Christ, Church of Christ.
但係嚟到 New York 呢度咧，
But when you come to New York,
周圍都睇唔到。
you can't see any churches of Christ.
係喎，我哋有個地方睇到，
Oh, there's one place where we can see it.
係我哋呢個教嘅地址。
That is the address of this church.
嗱，地鐵上嚟呢度，first 呢個地鐵上嚟呢度就有啦。
From the subway coming to Flushing over here, you'll see it.
你出嚟就喺左手邊嗰度有個地圖，嗰度就寫住基督教，
Once you exit, there's a map that says the Church of Christ.
就係我哋呢個地址。
And that's our address right here.
總之咧，點解係咁嘅情形？
And why is it this way?
因為呢度嗰啲人冇時間讀聖經，
Because the people here don't have time to read the Bible.
真係好慘。
It's really sad.
你講得好難聽，我哋基督教係靠聖經食飯嘅。
So if you want to say it in a not so polite way, us Church of Christ relies on the Bible to survive, or rather relies on the Bible to eat.
唔使，咁OK。我嘅聲音都夠響亮啦。
So my voice is loud enough, I don't need the battery.
OK，所以嗱，我哋要成日要讀聖經，要記得聖經點樣講，你就用神嘅説話嚟個抵擋，嚟到勝過魔鬼嘅試探
So
啦。
we have to constantly read the Bible. We have to study it and use the Bible as a way to block the temptations from the devil.
嗱，今日要小心嗰個落在荊棘裏邊嘅。
Now you have to be careful for those that can fall along the thorns.
因為全世界最流行嗰本聖經咧，好麻煩啊，
Because
翻譯得唔好。
the world's most popular Bible, there's trouble in that because the translation is not as poor.
所以你要小心。
You have to be careful.
佢呢度咧，佢話佢點樣嗱？呢度係我哋先睇聖經耶穌點樣解釋先。
So let's see what Jesus explained in the Bible first.
落在荊棘裏邊嘅就係人聽你道走開以後，被今生嘅憂慮、錢財、宴樂擠住了，結不出成熟的果子。
So some fall among thorns. These are they which, when they have heard, go forth and are choked with cares and riches and pleasures of this life, and bring no fruit to perfection.
嗱，特別係呢度，
Especially in New York.
有好多嘅憂慮，有錢財嘅問題、宴樂嘅問題。
So there's a lot of people who have problems of riches and choked with pleasures of life.
嗱，我特別提醒你嚇，
And I remind you,
今朝早啊，我睇到一個新聞，非常之非常之唔好嘅，你要小心。
so this morning I heard some bad news. It's very bad news.
喺波倫嗰度有個中國女仔請佢嘅同學喺屋企開 party。
So one Chinese student girl in Brooklyn invited her classmate over for a party.
然後 party， 然後嗰啲人走之後，最後有一個白人同學，兩個黑人同學同佢一齊喺度飲酒。
So after a bunch of people left, there was one white man and two black persons that came over to classmates that came over to hang out or party.
呢個女仔咧飲醉酒，由佢三個輪流強姦佢。
So this girl got drunk and the three men raped her, taking turns raping her.
嗱，所以我勸你禮拜六應該早啲瞓覺，
So I encourage you on Saturday, you should sleep early.
千祈唔好飲酒。
Don't drink,
你而家成世都麻煩啦。
because you're going to have a life full of problems.
呢啲 mistake 咧一次就夠㗎啦。
So these types of mistakes you only need to do once or one time.
我時都勸你哋，有啲 mistake 咧你一次都唔能夠犯。
I always encourage you that there are some mistakes you can't even commit one time.
你睇到我禮拜六點解唔叫啲同學讀聖經？
So you see on Saturday, why don't you invite your classmates to study the Bible?
點解要飲酒？
Why do you have to drink?
點解要開嗰啲 party？
Why do you have to have those types of parties?
點解唔 Bible study party？
Why don't we have a Bible study party?
嗱，全世界冇得講，
Now, no one in the world can say anything about this,
冇人能夠辯。
and no one can debate it.
而你開 Bible study party 咧，絕對唔會有人，我擔保全世界冇人會俾人強姦。
If you have a Bible study party, I guarantee that no one will be raped.
所以你哋年青人要小心，
So you young people have to be careful.
你唔好以為你好得意，你有錢，
Don't think you're so awesome, you have money, you're so cool,
你屋企咁大，
or your house is so big.
可以容忍咁多人嚟呢度吃落 party 飲
You
酒。
invite so many people to your house to have a party to drink.
2000年前就已經有啦。
2,000 years ago, this happened.
嗱，現來咩意思？就有錢同埋 party。
So that means you have money and you party.
嗱，上帝恩待我，
So God has blessed me
感謝神嘅恩
by
典。
the grace of God.
我係講現實，
I'm talking about reality.
我係講聖經真理。
I'm talking about the truth of the Bible.
2000年就已經有啦，
And 2,000 years ago, we already had this.
非常之難聽。
It's very hard to hear.
呢啲係抵死嘅。
They're worth. They're
睇到見翻新傳道人我都夠膽咁講。
they deserve it.
嗱，要拗就嚟啦。
So if you want to debate, come.
嗱，我仲話俾你聽，
I also will tell you.
而家全世界懲罰罪惡嘅方法都唔公義、唔正義。
So the most harsh punishment of the world is still not just enough.
Yeah, not righteous.
Not righteous enough.
Unrighteous 嗰啲都係 unrighteous 就係先就係罪惡。
So it's whatever is
約一
unrighteous.
章約一書5章17節，
So 1 John chapter 5 verse 17.
特別係佢哋 execute 嗰啲 murderer 嘅時候，
Especially when they execute the murderers.
佢哋用打針，仲驚住佢受痛苦，有冇搞錯啊？
They use lethal injections, but they're still afraid of them suffering pain.
我成世都相信佢點樣殺死人，就要點樣殺佢先至啱。
I've always believed that however this criminal murdered someone, that's how they should be killed.
Yeah, exactly the same way they should be executed，應該係咁樣先啱。
So they should be. That's the right way of executing them.
呢個先係正義。
And this is righteous.
所以而家世界上處決嗰啲犯人，係咪都冇一個係正義？
So in the world today, the way that they give capital punishment to criminals,
all of them is unrighteous.
it's unrighteous.
嗱，如果你咁樣處決啲犯人咧，可能有好多人就要諗啦。They have the second thought. They don't be killed the same way. 好多人咧就 second thought，佢唔敢 kill 人話你聽啦。
So if you execute people the righteous way, they're going to have a second thought of not actually committing the crime of killing people.
感謝神嘅恩
By
典，
the grace of God,
你要記得，千祈唔好鬧上帝有一個地獄。
don't be angry at God for having a hell.
呢個就係佢 make it fair，
He's making it fair
因為世上嘅人唔 fair，
because the people of the world are not fair.
佢對待罪惡都唔 fair。
When it comes to sin, they treat sinners unfairly.
所以上帝有個地獄嚟處決佢哋，
So that's why God has a hell prepared for the sinners.
將佢 make everything fair。
So He can make everything fair.
感謝神嘅恩
By
典。
the grace of God.
嗱，要記得2000年前已經有啦。
2,000 years ago we had this.
世上嘅人冇辦法好地信耶穌，
The people of the world could not properly believe in Jesus.
佢成日要擔心呢樣，擔心嗰
You
樣。
always have to worry about this or worry about that.
特別係我哋呢啲信耶穌，我哋啲好人，
Especially us Jesus believers, us good people,
就要幫助咁多人。
we have to help so many people.
佢哋就去宴樂，就去賺錢。
So they go party, they go make money.
嗱，今日咧，我用你哋睇清楚，
I want you to see this clearly today.
全世界最流行嗰本聖經翻譯得非常之唔好，
That the most popular Bible in the world is mistranslated.
所以呢個係其中一個見證。
And this is one other testimony.
呢啲奧秘咧係我哋基督教先有嘅，
So these types of wisdom, these secrets, are
上
church
帝
of
唔
Christ
俾
we
佢
have.
哋，
God does not provide these secrets to
因為耶
people.
穌基督親口講俾我哋聽。
And this is what Jesus Christ himself said with his own mouth.
路加福音8章10、12節，
Luke chapter 8 verse 14,
同埋11節。
10 and 11.
嗱，而家我哋睇路加福音8章14節呢個NIV 新國際版本點樣
So
翻譯啊？
watch how the NIV put Luke chapter 8 verse 14.
佢話：They are choked by life worries, riches, pleasures. They do not mature。睇到呢個 day 同呢個 day 係啦一樣嘅 day。They do not mature。呢個翻譯係唔啱嘅。
So this is the NIV translation. They are choked by life's worries, riches and pleasures. They do not mature. This is the incorrect translation.
嗱，我哋中文咧結不出成熟的果子，呢個翻譯就啱啦。你睇佢 KJV，bring no fruit to perfection，咁就啱啦。
So the Chinese translation, very similar to the KJV translation, it says, bring no fruit to perfection.
因為而家世界上就係我哋呢度都有，
Because in this world today, this is what happens, this is what we have.
有好多人好誠心信耶穌，
A lot of people, they zealously believe in Jesus.
佢自己係成熟嘅果子
They are mature fruit,
啊 ，perfected fruit
perfected fruit.
啊，即係話成功成熟嘅意思，即係話好似你樹上結果子，結到能夠成熟，成為一個完成嘅果子。
So just like a tree, when the fruit is ripe, that's a ripe, successful, perfected fruit. There are some people like that.
有時候我哋見到有啲樹咧結咗好多果子，但係冇一個成熟。
But we see sometimes trees have a lot of fruit, but none of them are ripe, none of them are perfected.
啊，但係有啲副果子佢未熟佢就結低啦。
But some trees, the fruits are not ripe yet, and they fall down from the
所以
tree.
佢呢度應該係 佢哋自己咧係成熟嘅果子，係已經結成果子，信而受洗，罪得赦嘅人。
So these people are, in terms of Christianity, they're ripe, they're successful, perfected fruit. They're people who have believed and have been baptized and become Christians.
但係佢哋生活喺呢個荊棘叢裏邊。
But they live in this world of sin.
In the thorn.
And the thorns.
They are among the thorns. 即係話佢哋喺荊棘叢裏面，好似我哋而家喺呢度信耶穌嘅人，周圍都圍住好多嘅嘢將佢哋逼住。
Just like us Christians today, we live in a world where there's a lot of things crowding us. So we live amongst the thorns.
特別有好多人帶好多人嚟信耶穌。
Just like some people, they bring a lot of people to believe in Jesus.
佢哋係有結果子。
So yeah, they produce some fruit.
果子唔成熟。
But the fruit is not ripe, it's not perfected.
好似我呢度有位年青人帶咗好多人嚟，帶咗好多同學嚟。
Just like we have a young person here that brought a lot of students here, a lot of classmates.
你唔能夠話佢唔想結果子。
You can't say that they didn't want to produce fruit.
佢哋係想結果子。
They want to produce fruit.
但係佢帶嚟嘅人咧留唔住。
But the people that they brought, if they can't stay, we can't keep them.
所以你唔能夠話佢自己唔係 perfected fruit，佢自己係 perfected fruit。
So you can't say that person is not a perfected fruit.
因為 perfected fruit 係咩意思咧？即係話聽道、信耶穌、受洗、罪得赦、領受咗聖靈，佢自己得救啦。
So perfected fruit means this person has heard the word, believed, and is baptized for remission of sin, and that person has received salvation themselves.
但係咧，佢結唔出成熟嘅果子。
But they can't produce successful or ripe fruit.
嗱，英文版、美國版咧就翻譯出結不出成熟嘅果子。
So the ASV and the KJV put it as bring no fruit to perfection.
嗱，自己唔成熟同埋結不出成熟嘅果子咧，完全唔同嘅意思。
So there's a difference between you yourself being perfected fruit and being able to produce perfected fruit.
因為我要為世界上嗰啲好人、誠心信耶穌嘅人申冤啊！
Because I need to help defend those people who are perfected fruit, those Christians in the world who are perfected fruit.
有好多人自己係成熟嘅果子。
There are a lot of people who are perfected fruit themselves.
佢哋有信耶穌悔改受洗，罪得赦免，領受聖靈。
They believe, they repent, they're baptized for the remission of sins.
但係俾周圍嘅環境、周圍嘅人將佢逼住。
But they're surrounded by all these people that they live with.
佢多麼希望佢嘅老公、佢嘅朋友、佢嘅親戚冚唪唥一齊嚟信耶穌。
They hope that their husband, their wives, their relatives, their friends all can come together to believe in Jesus.
想盡辦法，佢哋就係唔肯信耶穌。
They think of all ways, but all their families and friends or whatnot, they do not want to believe in Jesus.
點解？
Why?
今日我講得好清楚。
And I'll say it very, very clearly today.
聖經講㗎嚇，唔係我講㗎
This is
嚇。
what the Bible says, not myself.
係耶穌講㗎嚇。
This is what Jesus says.
因為佢哋冇良善嘅心。
That means they don't have a good heart,
因為佢冇誠實嘅心。
a sincere heart, honest heart,
我哋要照聖經。如果佢哋冇忍耐嘅心。
and a patient heart.
嗱，下低又有啦。
In the bottom we have this.
佢哋自己係得救嘅。
They're
只
saved
是
themselves,
他們在世上嘅負擔太多，責任太多。
but they're occupied too much with the things in the world.
嗱，好似我自己，我哋呢度好多人信耶穌，自己信得好好。
So a lot of people who believe in Jesus, they believe in Jesus so well.
但係我哋又要幫助呢個，又要幫助嗰個，又要幫助嗰個，乜都嚟到我哋嘅頭上。
We have to help that person, help this person. Everything comes on top of our heads.
逼到有時候氣都唞唔過嚟。
We're so crowded to a point where we can't even breathe sometimes.
喺呢個情形，
And it is in this situation.
如果我哋周圍嗰啲人都肯一齊嚟信耶穌，你話幾好？我哋大家都犧牲。
If everyone in the world or everyone around us would believe in Jesus, then we would be more relaxed. Wouldn't that be true?
點解我嘅某人？點解我嘅親戚？點解我嘅朋友？點解我隔離鄰舍？佢唔肯一齊，好似我咁樣嚟信耶穌？
Why do my friends or my neighbors or so and so refuse to come together with me to believe in Jesus?
仲有
Also,
點解一有困難就嚟揾我？
and why when they have problems and troubles they come find me?
嗱，我而家直接了當話俾你聽啦。
Now I am directly telling you this,
呢樣係叫做正義。
and this is called righteousness.
你禮拜六唔好你早啲瞓覺，又一早嚟參加一齊嚟傳福音、信耶穌、敬拜神。
On Saturday, if you don't sleep early, so you can come to church and worship and attend and help out with the Lord's work,
你走去 party，
but instead you go and party,
咁你俾人哋犯罪作我啦。
and then other people will commit sin upon you.
呢啲咧唔同意 馬太福音21章第19節。
So these things are different in Matthew chapter 21, verse 19.
嗰個有個葡萄樹無花果樹唔結果子，上耶穌叫佢立即枯乾。
So there was a fruitless fig tree, and Jesus told that fig tree to immediately wither.
嗱，佢有好多葉，
There were a lot of leaves.
但係冇果子，
There was no fruit.
連冇成熟嘅都冇。
It doesn't even have ripe fruit.
嗱，unripe 嘅 fruit 都冇啊！
It doesn't even have unripe fruit.
係咪？我突然間諗到有種 unripe fruit 都要得嘅。
So I know there's one unripe fruit that you can eat.
係喎，我頭先講咩話？嗱，我話 unripe fruit 都要得嘅，嗰啲係咩話嚟㗎
So
？OK，
there's an unripe fruit that you can eat that's edible.
你聽得懂嗬 ？You understand? OK，香蕉啊，
Bananas.
好青㗎。有時候我肚餓，好青我都搣嚟食。佢嗰個係細啲，但係好食得，一樣
So
食得。
even unripe bananas. Sometimes when I'm hungry, I'll take a
Right,
banana
eat it, OK.
and I'll eat it.
Sometimes you go hungry, unripe 嗰啲 banana 都食得㗎。
So you can eat unripe bananas.
OK，總之咧，佢淨係葉，果子冇果
So
子。
we saw this tree with leaves but no fruit.
我呢度係結得出成熟果子，要記得啊！
So you have to be able to produce ripe fruit.
佢對樹話：今後冇人食你果子啦，即刻就枯乾。
And he said to the tree, from now on you will never bring forth fruit, and that fig tree immediately withered.
好清楚唔得㗎。
It's very clear they cannot receive salvation.
就喺約翰15章第2節。
And also John chapter 15, verse 2.
嗱，我先講，免得有人要攞呢啲嚟同我辯，免得就喺佢出醜啊！
So I'm going to say it first because I don't want to embarrass anyone or take someone to take this verse.
佢呢度話不結果子的枝子，他就砍去，即係將佢斬咗，即係話唔得㗎，又係唔得㗎。
So this is different from cutting off every branch in me that bears no fruit. That also means they have no salvation.
耶穌話：凡屬我不結果子嘅枝子就剪去，即係唔得救嘅意思啦。
So Jesus said, branches on me that bring forth no fruit, he will cut off. That means they will not receive salvation.
但係而家我哋講嘅係嗰啲人結唔成成熟嘅果子，結唔出成熟嘅果子。
We're talking about those people right now who cannot bring forth or produce perfected fruit.
頭先佢講咗，我哋希望所帶嚟嘅人個個都有誠實嘅心，有良善嘅心，有忍耐嘅心，可以即刻信耶穌。
So we said before, we would love to bring people in here who have a good, honest, and patient heart to believe in Jesus.
嗱，點解我會咁諗呢？
And why do I have to think this way?
腓立比書第1章第5節，
Philippians chapter 1, verse 5.
其實全部腓立比書都係呢個意思。
Actually, the entire book of Philippians is
如果
like
全
this.
世界有研究就知啦。
If everyone in the world studied this, they would know.
我哋中國人講得好清楚，一句説話就搞掂。
So us Chinese people, we say it very clearly. In one sentence, we can clear it all up.
我哋做神嘅工作係有錢出錢，有力出力。
So when we do the Lord's work, if we have money, we give money. If we have ability, we give the ability.
嗱，教會工作一係咁樣，
The work of the church is also like this.
有錢出錢，有力出力。
You have money, you give money. You have the ability, you give your ability.
大家一齊做，
And we do the work together.
大家都有份。
And we all share in the work of the Lord.
所以你唔能夠話嗰啲人誠心奉獻、誠心參加活動，但係你話佢唔得㗎。
So you can't say that those people who wholeheartedly they give, but then they can't be saved.
嗱，呢個係使徒保羅寫嘅，
So this is what Apostle Paul says.
成本腓立比書你讀清楚。
The entire book of Philippians, you read it carefully,
特別係第1章第5節，
especially chapter 1, verse 5.
你們嗱，因為從頭一天直到如今，你們是同心合意興旺福音。
Here's why I think this way, for your fellowship in the furtherance of the gospel from the first day until now.
佢呢個意思就係佢啲英文係 fellowship 同埋 furtherance，佢呢度係就係你研究嘅意思就係佢哋奉獻金錢支持傳福音。
So if you study it carefully, that means these people are contributing money to support the work of the Lord, the gospel.
嗱，好似我呢度最近有3位受浸，
Just like recently, we had 3 baptisms here
叫佢做得勝，呢個就係成熟完成嘅果子。
for the remission of sins, and these are examples of perfected spiritual fruits.
嗱，所以我頭先咧就我英文要翻譯 perfect fruit， 呢度咧我要完成屬靈嘅果子就啱啦。
So that's why over here I translated it as perfected spiritual fruits.
冇錯，我哋有好多人親身教導佢哋。
Of course, we have a lot of people who personally took their time to teach these people,
但係亦都因為有啲人肯樂意奉獻，
But also because some people are willing to contribute money.
然後我哋先能夠有呢個地方維持呢個地方，
And then we can still have this place or maintain this place.
然後有呢個工作，
And then we can have this work.
所以呢啲成熟完成嘅果子咧，係大家一齊有份。
So these perfected spiritual fruits, we all share in this.
我甚至話俾你聽，好似禮拜日朝頭早一早嚟幫手掃地嘅，亦都有份。
Just like those who come early on Sunday to help sweep the floor, they also share in this blessing.
凡係喺呢個工作裏邊有份嘅都有份。
Anyone who shares in this work shares in this blessing.
只不過有啲人咧經驗太多
It's just some people have too many
thorn around them，
thorns.
所以你行路啊乜嘢都要好小心，成日俾佢擠住。
So when you walk, you have to be careful because you're always being crowded by thorns.
而家最成功㗎啦，最好啦 ，rosy 嘅地方啦，
Now the rosiest ground.
就係落在好土裏邊啦。
So some seeds fall on good soil.
人聽咗道之後，能夠持守喺誠實、良善、善良、忍耐。
So these are such that you have an honest and good and patient heart.
所以信耶穌咧最 rosy 最好嘅方法，
So
最好嘅環
this is
境，
the rosiest environment to believe in Jesus.
就係你要有誠實嘅心、良善嘅心、忍耐嘅心。
That means you have a good, honest, and patient heart.
所以我哋帶人嚟信耶穌，
So when we bring people to believe in Jesus,
我哋睇唔到佢嘅心，
we can't see their heart.
我哋只係睇到佢嘅樣。
We can see their face or what they look like.
好似有一次有個移民官打電話問我，呢個人係咪真係信耶穌？
Just like someone from immigration called and asked, does this person really believe in Jesus?
我話我睇唔到佢嘅心，我只係睇到佢人嚟就參加聚會。
And I said, I can't see his heart, but I can see his human body here attending worship.
如果你要知道佢真信耶穌，你要問上帝啦。
If you want to know if he really believes in Jesus, you have to ask God.
真係但係我能夠睇到人嘅心。
But I wish I could see people's heart.
咁我企喺地鐵門口就得。
So then I could stand right in front of the subway, entrance to the subway.
係喎，你使唔使坐塞入去咩輕人㗎？你都要坐啊？我以為你游水過就得。
I thought you could just swim over to Manhattan.
Okay, so close, right? Okay. 我就企喺地鐵入口嗰度，睇住邊個有誠實、良善、忍耐嘅心，我就揸住就搞掂啦。
So I can stand by the subway entrance, and if I can see their hearts, if I can see that whoever has a good, honest, patient heart, I'll just grab them.
嗱，呢啲人你 grab 住都唔怕㗎，佢唔會打你㗎。
So these people, if you grab them, you don't have to worry, they won't hit you.
因為佢有良善嘅心，佢有誠實嘅心，佢有忍耐嘅心。
Because they have a good, honest, and patient heart.
但係今日我哋千祈唔夠膽去塞嚟出嚟嘅時候就揸住嗰啲人啊！人哋就係話你話非禮啊咁樣麻
But
煩。
today, I dare not grab anyone who comes out in the subway because they're going to yell rape.
我真係希望能夠睇到人嘅心。
I really hope to be able to see the hearts of people.
我就一個個地鐵出嚟就一個個睇呢個有冇，呢個有冇，我就捉住佢一個
As they
咁啊！
exit out of the subway, I'll see if they have a good, honest, and patient heart, and I'll grab them.
但係我而家想全世嘅人知道，
But I want everyone today in the world to know
信耶穌最好嘅方法，
that believing in Jesus is the best way in believing in Jesus.
最好嘅環境。
The best environment.
嗱，好土咧，唔單止係你自己嘅心，
To fall on good soil, it's not just your heart.
你仲需要嗰個環境。
You need the environment.
啱啱上帝恩待遇到嗰啲人有呢種心。
So the timing also has to be right. That God has to have come across these people who have this type of heart.
感謝神恩典，我突然間明白更多啦。
By the grace of God, I suddenly became very clear amongst these
點解我
matters.
睇到好多人所謂信耶穌嘅人行為咁衰啊？
Why do we see so many Jesus believers behave so badly?
特別係有啲人，我親眼睇到啊！
And I see with my own eyes, especially some
佢
people,
參加教會好多侍奉嘅工作，甚至探訪嘅工作，好多服侍嘅工作，但係佢嘅嘴巴咧講出嚟嘅好毒嘅説話，所以我哋叫佢做 poisonous tongue，
So
即
these
係
people,
惡毒嘅舌頭。
they participate in many church activities and visitations, but yet they still carry a poisonous tongue.
甚至參加唱詩班添啊！
Even in singing.
但係佢嘅嘴巴咧，平日啊翻屋企咧，佢啲舌頭好毒㗎。
But when they go home, they have a poisonous tongue.
點解咧？
And why?
因為佢嘅心唔良善，
Because their heart is not
佢嘅
good,
心唔誠
it's
實，
not honest,
佢又冇忍耐，
it's not patient.
舌頭惡毒佢就有啦。
But they have a poisonous tongue.
太多啦。
There's too many.
感謝上恩典，
By the grace of God,
我哋呢度人數唔係好多。
we don't have a lot of people here.
我40年嚟好似聽到有一個舌頭非常之毒嘅，
So 40 some odd years ago, I heard someone with a very poisonous tongue.
我仲記得佢企喺邊度，
And I remember where he stood.
所以我老婆唔使擔心我會有失憶症啊，
So my wife doesn't have to worry that I might have Alzheimer's.
因為我仲記得佢企喺邊度，
Because I still remember where he stood.
30幾年前啦，
So it was 30 some odd years ago.
佢鬧佢女嗰句説話真係好難聽。
The words he used to yell at his daughter was very, very
你想唔想
poisonous.
聽佢鬧咩啊？
Do you want to know what he said? Or
想唔想聽啊？
do you want to hear it?
我唔想聽先啦。
If you don't want to hear it, it's okay.
OK，如果你想聽問我啦，
If you want to hear it, you can ask me.
廣東話嚇，唔係國語啊。
It's in Cantonese, not Mandarin.
我就即刻話佢聽，如果你唔改咧，你唔好嚟啦。
And I even told him, if you don't change, don't come back.
哇，佢好乖喎。
And he behaved.
我就希望你聽我講，好啲嚟信耶穌，好啲嚟信，佢即刻就聽就好啦。
And I hope that he could believe in Jesus the right way. And if he could do that, that'd be great.
我話如果你唔停止講呢啲嘢咧，
I said, if you don't stop,
你唔好嚟啦。
then don't come.
佢下個禮拜就開始就唔嚟啦。
And then next week he didn't come.
你嗱意思
Next week he didn't come.
咁乖
So see, he's so well behaved.
嗱，我叫佢話唔好嚟啦，佢即刻就唔嚟啦。
So I told him not to come. He immediately just didn't come.
我叫佢好啲信耶穌，叫咗唔知幾多百次，佢都唔聽。
I told him to believe in Jesus the right way 100 times. He still didn't listen.
你睇下傳道激唔激心咧？你講嘅
So
諗法。
can you see how preaching can aggravate the heart?
睇到我感謝上恩典，我仲存在喺度啊！
By the grace of God, I'm still here.
我仲喺度啊
I still exist. I'm still
OK，
here.
千祈唔好有毒嘅舌頭啊！
Don't have a poisonous tongue.
好難聽啊！呢啲人唔好信耶穌。
So these people, they shouldn't believe in Jesus.
嗱，因為你需要有呢啲心，你先能夠守住神嘅道，能夠結出成熟嘅果子。
So these are the people who can hold fast to the word and bring forth perfected fruits.
帶領就係帶領人從聽道一直到受洗，呢
Bring people to church, study the Bible with them until they are baptized.
啲咧就係叫做成功嘅 perfect fruit 啦。
So these people are called successful, perfected fruit.
嗱，呢個就係點解1960年時代嘅時候，
So this is why in the 1960s,
感謝神嗰個時候咧，我哋香港傳道最好嘅時間。
so during that time, by the grace of God, that was the best time to preach in Hong Kong.
感謝神呢啲，我有4年嘅機會。
By the grace of God, I had 4 years opportunity.
好多時候我問嗰啲，我逐家去探訪，請佢哋嚟信耶穌。
So a lot of times I went to house to invite them to believe in Jesus.
有好多時候我遇到嗰啲已經係信耶穌嘅人，
So a lot of times I'll come across people who say they already believe in Jesus.
然後我話俾你聽，你有冇照聖經？
And I tell them, you don't believe in Jesus according to the Bible.
嗰啲唔算數。
That doesn't count.
佢想嚇，你夠膽話我唔照聖
And
經？
they say, huh? You dare tell me I don't believe in Jesus according to the Bible?
我要你嚟，我哋教會同我哋牧師研究聖經。
So they said, we want you to come to our church to study with our pastor.
如果你能夠證明我哋牧師冇照聖經，
If you can prove that our pastor does not teach according to the Bible,
我哋就嚟基督教會。
we will come join the Church of Christ.
60時代50幾年前，
So this was in the 1960s, about 50 some odd years ago.
好多人都係咁樣回答。
A lot of people responded that way.
你既然夠膽話我哋冇照聖經，
You dare tell me that we don't preach according to the Bible or do things according to the Bible?
我挑戰你同我哋牧師研究啊！
I challenge you to come study with our pastor.
如果你能夠喺我哋面前證明我哋牧師冇照聖經，
If you could prove to us in front of our face that our pastor does not teach according to the Bible,
我哋就嚟基督教會。
we will come to the Church of Christ.
4年就係500幾600個人，
So in 4 years, there was about 500 to 600 people.
其他嗰啲從來冇去教嘅人，聽到我哋咁樣傳福音，佢哋都好中意。
So a lot of people who did not believe in Jesus but heard the way we preached, they really liked it.
感謝神恩典，我最少有呢段嘅機會。
So by the grace of God, I had this opportunity.
若是你能夠我哋啱啱講咗啦
So we spoke about this
但我
point.
嚟咗呢個40年，
So I've been in New York for 40 years.
我問好多嗰啲宗派嘅人，你哋冇照聖經啊？
So I asked a lot of the denominational people, you don't do things according to the Bible.
佢話係咩？
And they said, really?
我哋覺得好好玩。
Is that true? But we feel really good.
誒，你有冇睇到我嘅？
Did you see my expression?
哇，好嘢！我唔講佢都聽嘢到。Very good。睇到我嗰個平台，哦係咩？
You see my expression? They said they would calmly say, is that true? Really?
我哋覺得好好喎，
But we feel really good.
冇希望。
They have no hope.
睇到冇誠實信耶穌嘅心，冇良善嘅心，冇忍耐，
So they don't have a good, honest, and patient heart.
心裏冇耶穌，
In their heart, they don't have Jesus.
而且咧自己得好成功
And，they lie to themselves very successfully
直到佢死咗之後先至發現，
and to the point until they die, that's when they find out.
好可憐。
That's very sad.
咁你點樣講咧？
Then what can you say?
上帝都唔救佢咁嘅辦法，
So if God doesn't want to save them, what hope do they have?
唔係我唔結果子，
It's not that I don't produce fruit.
係佢哋冇良善嘅心，冇誠實嘅心，冇忍耐嘅心，
It's that they don't have a good, honest, and patient heart.
冇機會得救。
And they don't have the ability or hope to be saved.
我又唔需要為佢哋傷心，
And I don't need to be sad for them.
我盡我嘅責任。
I fulfill my responsibility.
願神賜福保守局。
The Lord bless you, keep.